Oh, good.
Yeah.
Fatou?
Fatou, yes.
You spell it Fatou?
Yes.
Thank you.
Great, well, let's speak. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're a Whitney Houston fan?
Huge fan.
Yeah, we're rolling. Thank you.
It's okay. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
My first question is about the empowerment. When I saw the movie, it's talking about empowerment, about a young girl, self-esteem. And what I like about the movie, it's a movie. The filmmaker Ava is a woman. You are three icons for me. And hero is a young black girl, and it's very important to have the representation in this world. And the message in this film say that to find the light, you have to fight the darkness. So my question, in your life, what was the light that helped you to fight the darkness?
Good question, y'all.
Thank you.
I would say that growing up poor in rural Mississippi, that the light for me was always books, because books allowed me to see that there was a life beyond my front porch and my grandmother's yard, and that there was a whole world out there. And I used to imagine myself in other people's stories. And so one of the great highlights of my life is that I read Maya Angelou's book, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, at a very young age, and then later became a reporter and interviewed her, and she ended up becoming a great mentor, mother, friend for me. So for me, no question, it was books.
Beautiful. I loved movies when I was a little girl. I used to watch movies over and over, and I wouldn't watch them one time. I'd watch them 7 times. And I'd watch the way people said things, or if it was a comedy, I'd look at the jokes and why was that funny. And so I obsessively watched movies when I was little. And I just always knew I wanted to make movies. I still love making movies. And now I get to produce movies. And it's been really wonderful for me to be now in a position where I'm picking the material. I'm putting other women in charge, or hiring people who I love to work with, and giving them an opportunity to expand into new storytelling. So that's great.
And you, Mindy?
I agree with both of them, books and film. And I think one of the things that maybe the three of us have in common is at very young ages we were consumers of things outside of our own home. We were really eager and hungry for material that would expand our imaginations. And because I think that's what happens when you're a young, ambitious girl, is you want to see what else is out there. And I grew up in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and I think I knew that while I loved where I was raised, that wasn't where I was going to be. And I was eager to get out of there. So I think I just consumed. I was always reading. I was always watching TV, staying up late, watching Saturday Night Live, looking at the credits, not knowing what a line producer did, but knowing that was a job. And I think I just wanted to, that was that was the light for me.
Okay. And the second question, for me, Wrinkle in the Time is the new Wizard, the film Wizard of Oz, and the never-ending story. And for me, it's very important that the new generation can see that fantasy movie can be led by women, different type of women, different type of color, because now we live in the world that we need to empower the young girls, to tell them that they are the future, they are women, and they have to have self-esteem, to love their body, they are intelligent. And my question for you is, if a little girl came to you and asking you an advice for her future, what did you tell her?
Well, I have a little girl. I mean, I have an 18-year-old girl. She's not little anymore. She does ask a lot of advice, but more than anything, she listens. And I try to surround her with women who are accomplished, who have overcome things,
Yeah.
who have had failure and are very open and vulnerable about it. So it's been a wonderful experience for my daughter to spend time with Mindy and Oprah and Ava and Storm Reed.
Yes.
Because I think we learn a lot from other women and the example that they set. It's very important who you make friends with. You have to surround yourself with people who lift you up.
Yes.
She is so well spoken. I was so impressed with her last night.
Thank you for saying
Oh,
that.
well, no, you had to be so proud of her.
I'm so proud of her.
I mean, just sitting there in the conversation with her at dinner last night, I was like, whoa.
I know.
I know.
But she learns from, I mean, she's very
She's
open.
very different than she was even when she came to my house 2 years ago.
I know, isn't it incredible?
Yeah,
the
how
growth
much she's
between,
grown, yeah.
Yeah, teenage years and young 20s. It's very important
Yes.
that women are surrounded by these kind of movies
Mm-hmm.
and women who are telling them they need to find their strength.
And she just had a baby girl, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, advice that I would give to a young woman, I think there's two things. I mean, I think I once got this advice, which I thought was really good advice. I didn't understand it at the time. When you're very ambitious and young and striving, and the advice was to be kind.
Yes.
And that's not something you think about a lot when you're a young person, necessarily. You're so worried about status and how you're going to accomplish your goals and dreams and being, and how other people perceive you. But I thought that was very good advice, to be kind. I'm still learning from that, but that would be the advice I give my daughter.
I think one of the things, I think Mrs. Whatsit says to Meg in the movie, embrace your faults.
Oh yeah, embrace your faults.
Embrace your faults. And so, you know, everybody, when you're about Meg's age, in the movie she's 13, 14, that is a really tough time.
Yes.
Because you're trying to figure out who you are, you're listening to your friends, you want to be liked by your friends, being shunned by your friends makes you feel that you're not valuable. But when you get some perspective, you understand that there really is only one goal in life. And that is, if you're a young boy, if you're a young girl, everybody is here to become more of who you are. That is why you're here. So the message that we're all trying to give to Meg is that, Meg, you're enough. You alone are enough. And your only job on earth is to become more of who you are. Not who someone else is, not who the people who are bullying you are, not even who your mother or father wants you to be. But there is within each of us our own internal guidance. There's that voice, that intuition, that instinct or feeling. It's a feeling more than anything else that says, this is who I am. So when you're 13, 14, you're trying to discern that voice from the voice of all of your friends. And so I would say that that voice, if you are just able to connect to what that feeling is, that tells you the difference between you should go that way, you should go that way, you shouldn't go get in that car with your friends or drinking, you shouldn't do that. If you are able to listen to that voice, you will be always led to the highest possible place for yourself.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Fatou.